Remember the Southport protests last year? Well, Keir Starmer was all over the news, quick to blame the far right for starting it. Well, an independent report that I have right here has just blown two-tier Keir's far right fantasy to smithereens. Hey up everyone and welcome to Political Nerds. I'm Steph the Alter Nerd, your nerdy political guide from Washington DC to Westminster and beyond. In today's video we're going to discuss how two-tier Keir's far-right fantasy has just been blown to smithereens. Now do your own research, come to your own conclusions, and as a disclaimer, I am not inciting hatred to anyone or particular group, religion, etc. So let's jump into it with this. One of many statements two-tier Keir made at the time during the Southport protests last year, blaming the far right. Here's an example right here. From August the 4th last year, he says, quote, "I utterly condemn the far-right thuggery we have seen this weekend. Be in no doubt, those who have participated in this violence will face the full force of the law." He blamed the far right. He blamed the EDL, even though they haven't been in existence for nearly like 10 years or so. He blamed Tommy Robinson, even though I saw the majority of Tommy's tweets and videos that he put out at the time. And he was at pains to turn around and say, don't commit any violence whatsoever. You're playing into the establishment's hands if you do that. Be calm, protest peacefully and all that jazz. And so yeah, two-tier Keir was very, very quick to build up the boogeyman in all of this, which for him was the far right. Thing is, though, this report right here has just blown two-tier Keir's far-right fantasy to smithereens. Here's the report right here. This is from HMICFRS, Making Communities Safer. The report published yesterday, 7th of May 2025, as of me recording this video, an inspection of the police response to the public disorder in July and August 2024, tranche 2. And of course, the public disorder in July and August 2024 is referencing the Southport protests last year. Now, the establishment likes to refer to them as the Southport riots. I think that actually does a disservice to those that were there. It was a protest. It wasn't a riot. People were protesting against what happened and wanted more accountability and wanted the truth of what was going on as well, because the government, even to this day, is keeping so much away from us as to actually what happened during that immense, saddening tragedy, right? So I'm going to direct you guys to this portion of the report right here. Now, if you want to read this part of the report in full, I'll link it in the description bar below. But they say, in total, across both tranches of our review, we scrutinised over 700 reports and other documents. These included police forces, the POPS strategic risk assessments, intelligence reports, community impacts assessments, online content and social media communication strategies and investigation materials. We also examined over 4,370 pieces of evidence in accordance with our terms of reference. Disappointingly, we found that the police service didn't sufficiently prioritise intelligence on disorder, even though the strategic policing requirement includes it as one of the most significant threats to public safety. We also found that forces didn't always monitor, collect, classify, or use disorder-related intelligence effectively. This inhibits their ability to identify disorder-related risk at local, regional, and national levels, and it's part of the reason the police service didn't react to changes in public sentiments before the disorder in Southport. So, first and foremost, I'm reading these two paragraphs to give you a little bit of a background. Firstly, to show you guys that, this report is no joke. They went through hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of reports, okay, to get to the conclusion that they're going to get to in a moment. The second paragraph essentially explains that the police force didn't do their job when it came to prioritising intelligence. And so because they didn't deal with the intelligence coming through effectively and didn't prioritise it effectively, it meant that their response wasn't effective enough. because they didn't analyse and prioritise the intelligence as good as they should have done to be able to handle the situation better. Not great. Instead, they, alongside two-tier Keir and his Stasi Labour government, were really quick to jump to the conclusion that it was the far right. However, this report is blowing that fantasy to smithereens. Here we go. During our inspection, we found no conclusive or compelling evidence that the 2024 disorder was deliberately premeditated and coordinated by any specific group or network. In other words, Keir Starmer, you owe the UK and the Southport protesters a big, massive freaking apology. Because it wasn't the far right. It was far from the far right. They had nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with the organisation of it or anything like that. Instead, this report states most people who took part in the disorder lived locally. Before the 2024 disorder, many of them hadn't been convicted of a disorder-related offence. The police arrested 147 children, some as young as 11 years old. This is the UK we're living in right now. This is what Keir Starmer is allowing our police force to do to us. The police also arrested the elderly. And so here, the report states that the oldest person arrested and convicted for assault was a man aged 81. The events that led to their arrest mainly involved public expressions of disaffection online and on the streets of UK towns and cities. The murders of 3 young girls in Southport triggered these events, but they turned into widespread and often serious disorder because of many other complex factors. And so for two-tier Keir to try and simplify this complex situation and turn round and say it's far right is absolutely disgusting. And, as this report is now confirming, is an outright freaking lie. Again, there's no conclusive or compelling evidence that the 2024 disorder was deliberately premeditated and coordinated by any specific group or network, such as the far freaking right. You absolute freaking moron! Keir Starmer started a freaking witch hunt back in August when he blamed the Southport protests on the far right. And he did that for one reason: to scare us all into silence. To scare us all to stay in our homes and not protest against the government. To scare us all into not doing a thing, so that there wasn't a chance that any of us would actually get near to the truth of what happened in Southport. And that evil, disgusting waste of a human being that did it in the first place. Make no mistake, two-tier Keir is a manipulative SOB. But dude just got caught out by this report right here. And you know what? Yeah, Keir Starmer, we are owed a big, massive apology from you. Because he was so quick to blame it all on the far right that the mainstream media freaking jumped on it. UK PM Starmer condemns far-right violence after Southport killings. August 1st, 2024, Reuters. Here, The Telegraph, 1st of August 2024, Starmer blames far-right for Southport riots. Here, Guardian, Southport police brace for more violence from far-right hooligans. This was 31st of July 2024. Here, we've got the BBC. Violent Southport protests revealing organising tactics of the far right. Again, this was the 2nd of August 2024. Keir Starmer blamed it all on the far right. It had nothing to do with them whatsoever in terms of the organisation or anything of these protests. But he did that. The mainstream media jumped on it like it was freaking catnip. So do you know what? Not only does Keir Starmer owe the British public a freaking apology, But every single mainstream media outlet that peddled his far-right freaking fantasy needs to apologise to its readers and the British public as well for trying to smear us and gaslight us. Because those that were protesting at Southport were automatically then labelled as far-right after what Keir Starmer did. Smearing them all. Demonising them all. Well, guess what? Karma has come to bite Keir Starmer and the mainstream media on their backsides and completely destroy their far-right fantasy. Because again, I will repeat this until the end of time. One of the most beautiful freaking sentences I've ever had to read out from a report. During our inspection, we found no conclusive or compelling evidence that the 2024 disorder was deliberately premeditated and coordinated by any specific group or network. In other words, Keir Starmer, you dumb mofo, your far-right fantasy has just got freaking destroyed. What next? Your move, dumbass. With that being said, if you appreciated this video and you want more, believe me, of course there's going to be more. Keir Starmer just can't stop being a dumbass, so what's he going to do next? Well, make sure you subscribe to join our alternate tribe here at Political Nerds to find out what he'll do next. Like, share, comment down below your opinion, conspiracy theories, whatever's. What do you think to the outcome of this report? Are you glad? Are you surprised that the report is turning around and essentially saying that the organisation of these protests had nothing to do with the far right? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for tuning into this video. I appreciate all your faces. And until the next time, you guys, laters.